Hey guys, it's Drac. This is Box. So when I got back from my travels, I had just about every blaster under the sun sent to me with a Hasbro label on it, but I opened them all and I looked at all of them. And I didn't have the new Centurion, so the good people at Entertainment Earth were happy to help me out there and set me up, and they were even nice enough to refund my payment after kind of explaining it to them. So in exchange for them refunding my payment, I decided to kind of promote Entertainment Earth. They're really, really good people, and they're super easy to network with, and they helped me out here. So, with that much out of the way, I'm going to assume that this package has a Centurion in it. Sure hope I'm right. It's huge. Alright, so it's definitely a Centurion, and this is the new Instrike Elite Mega line. This is the Centurion. Obviously the blaster is designed to be huge, the darts are supposed to be huge, and it's claiming ranges of up to 100 feet, which is why it is the Centurion. Get it? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the package and start my review. This blaster is way bigger than I feel like it needs to be, but if it gets that kind of performance out of the box, that would be sweet. Here's our ridiculously oversized clip. I wish I had a regular Instrike clip to show you, but I do still have the Vamp Shot here, so to put that into perspective, the clip alone is bigger than my pistol. That's a bit excessive, in my opinion. It's huge, it's designed to hold huge darts. Alright, so the blaster itself is of a reasonable size, but I'm sure I'm not done yet. That looks like the priming bar. There's nothing else in here, or here. This is the barrel attachment. And there should be darts somewhere. And a bipod. I'll take the bipod out for good measure. Man, hopefully the whole blaster fits in the frame now that I've trimmed it down a little ways. Or at least gets close. Okay, so right out of the box we have a reasonably comfy stock. I must be missing something actually. I don't have any darts. Let me... Does it come with darts? Okay, they're inside here, along with some undoubtedly useless instructions to ignore. What I was going to say is that the stock is comfy, the blaster has a comfortable handle, and it's all reasonable. Hey, look, it's red. That's kind of cool. I love red. Alright, so these darts are comically huge, very heavy, and designed like Elite darts. They are largely hollow with a heavy tip. Man, this is a monstrous blaster. I'm putting these in backwards because the clip is counterintuitive. It's, again, the Elite blasters have decided that it's a good idea to put all of their clips in kind of a half clear, half not clear sort of setup, and I'm not entirely sure that I agree with that. I don't like the idea of my opponents in Nerf Wars having the ability to tell how much ammunition I have left. I think that anybody with half a brain can count their shots. I'm going to go ahead and lock these into place. I'm sure that these are just like the long strike and the long shot before it. Once we attach these, they're going to be difficult to unattach. Or maybe not. Maybe they barely stay in. I am not sure. So this one's locked in pretty well, and this one does not want to lock in. There we go. Click. Click. Alright, so now we have a primable blaster. The jam door is large and clear, which is fine because the darts are large and the clip is half clear. Wow! That prime is excessive. I hope that prime is not necessary. And the blaster even has some kick. It's got priming indicators here, and I think that's the only one. Nope, here and here. So there and on the back to indicate if it's primed and ready to fire. Just lost half of my priming mechanism. You can see here that the barrel closes with the front here, and then when you fire, it kind of kicks back. So that's where the blaster is getting its kick from. It sounds like it has a very large spring, and I hope it has a reasonable sized plunger tube. I'm not entirely familiar with how it works. Here's our front barrel attachment, but what it doesn't look like they're telling you is that the front barrel attachment, while it's pretty cool, has these clips on it, and it doesn't look like the front barrel attachment is going to come off if I put it on. So I actually have no intention of putting it on. I'm going to go through one clip without it on because it looks like one big 16-inch segment of barrel drag. For those of you that are new to my channel and unfamiliar with the concept of barrel drag is when there is a barrel encasing your dart and no pressure behind that dart, which means that the drag inside the barrel actually slows the dart down, and that is no bueno for anyone. So I'm going to go ahead and prime the blaster. Oh, no, you have to load it. That's not primed. Alright, that's fine. So I'm going to load the blaster with our comically large clip, which I'm probably doing wrong. Load. Gosh, this thing is goofy. Alright, so to load the blaster, you take your giant clip and slide it in. This might be one of my worst reviews to date just because the blaster is really not cooperating with me. Okay, so you slide it in like so and it clicks into place, and then I assume that you close the jam door. You can see that the darts are chambered. You prime all the way back to chamber a dart, you slide all the way forward to fire, and fire. Okay, so right off the bat, that's a misfire. That's not good. I'm not loving this blaster. I can tell you that the blaster is getting nowhere close to its 100-foot climbed ranges. Even without the barrel drag on, I feel like I'm punching 70-ish, and that's with large darts that are slower moving and easier to see than regular darts, which means that I would not recommend this over something like the Elite Alpha Trooper, plus it costs twice as much. It's a little bit of a disappointment. By that token, it is very cool to see Nerf testing this concept, but that shot right there was a complete and total dud. And I don't think that I'm doing anything wrong. I welcome you in the comment section to let me know if there's anything that you feel I could be doing differently, but okay, there's the clip release. It doesn't work. I feel like this blaster is a little ridiculous, and I don't much care for it. So I'm going to cut it real quick, attach this and the bipod, which the bipod looks like it's omnidirectional, which means that it's going to be completely useless. That's kind of disappointing. But as soon as you put pressure on this, you can see that it's going to just cave, which means that there's no sense in setting anything up against it. So this is an accessory to be turned into something better, perhaps an integration that's attachable. But we will kind of check that out after I cut the video and fire a few times with this barrel on. I'm sure it'll reduce ranges, but I want to do it anyway for the sake of a complete review. Alright guys, so this is the remaining kind of segment on my Nerf Centurion review video, and the only thing that I have to say about this blaster is that as someone with a lot of experience with every blaster that's been released pretty recently, this is by far the worst of the bunch. It doesn't really have any practical applications unmodded, and I feel like it is the very definition of a gimmick. So I guess I'm going to kind of explain that as we go into it. Like, the blaster has a few adaptations that I think are really neat. You can see here that this is flared open to help with chambering, and yet I still get a lot of jams with this blaster. Adding this on, it does not come off, and there's a notable decrease in ranges. The reason that there's such a time delay between this segment and the segment before is because I had a ridiculous amount of issues with jams while trying to get the blaster to prime and fire, and somebody who is 6 feet and 2 inches tall should not have an issue priming a blaster this large. It's not even hard to prime, it's just awkward. So like the idea of a child using this blaster, which is almost as long as my wingspan, is kind of comical. It's not going to be a comfortable blaster for most younger nerfers. In addition to that, like, it's not getting the ranges it claims, and the ranges are severely impaired by this this barrel attachment and the barrel drag that I explained earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and close this jam door and see if I can get it to chamber the 3 shots that I have left. And we'll see if that fires. Pull it into my frame. And this is exactly what I was talking about. That dart did not fire, and now we have this issue where after it's primed back, you can see that the dart is still sort of half chambered, and we can do this awkward thing with the clip where we try and get the clip out, but the clip likes to jam. Now this dart has been pulled out, so I'll try and manually load the blaster. And again, it's really awkward to do all of this in frame because the blaster is much larger than I feel like it needs to be. Oh, I'm sorry, the other dart might still be chambered, and this is the next one in line in the clip. The blaster is just very difficult to use, so I'm going to half prime it, which puts the barrel within reach. I'm going to try and manually load it, just so I can get like one solid shot off with this front barrel attachment on. So now you can sort of see that it's chambered. And I'll finish priming the blaster. It's like over a foot of draw, it's just unnecessary. And so that shot did fire, but again, like once it's got this barrel attachment on it, I feel like we're punching 65 maybe. And that's not an inside range test, that's from when I was outside trying to play with it and get the function. But the fact that that's the action and it's awkward makes this blaster really, really hard for me to get behind. The fact that I lost 2 of my darts while outside and Nerf does not yet have a suitable kind of way to replace your ammunition with this blaster yet is very awkward. I haven't seen any reload kits for the Centurion, maybe I'm just missing them. But the blaster jams all the time, it doesn't get the ranges it claims, it doesn't have universal ammunition, and it's just not worth the price tag or the trouble. This is easily the worst blaster of the year. So that's my review of the Nerf Centurion. I'm sure you guys are going to flame me in the comments because every time I say something bad about a Nerf blaster, all of my fans get really upset because they truly love Nerf. And all I have to say about that is that I also am really passionate about this hobby and I really love these toys and blasters. And that's why I feel like it's so important to be honest in my reviews and tell you which ones are really fun and worth playing with and which ones just aren't worth it, because not everybody has the option of just buying every Nerf gun and trying them out. So it's important to kind of like get a feel for which blaster you actually want if you can only get 1 or 2 at a time. And so the Centurion definitely should not be on that list. I feel like maybe this blaster has some hope if I take it apart completely and overhaul it in some way. Obviously it has a nice shell with a lot of space, so it's got plenty of room for like homemade internals. I'm not sure if that's the direction I'm going to take it or if I'm going to try and fix up these, but look out for a mod guide in the description box below and we'll see if we can save the Centurion. So as always guys, thanks for watching.